long ago. Funny she had never cleaned out this drawer. So obviously she refers to his mom, but do you think that like he means that she had I thought that she had never cleaned out this drawer because she was just like a psycho cleaner who like was like getting rid of old stuff, but do you think that that's because she had cleaned everything out from his brother?
I feel like maybe it's symbolism.
I didn't get that before.
Because I feel like it's his room. I feel like maybe she's kind of like cleaning out the outside of the room. So just kind of like, that could be like symbolic right there. She's cleaning out the outside, but really like within the drawers and like emotionally with Clay, like she hasn't cleared that out. I feel like maybe that's saying something.
Whoa.
I think there is something that could save.
That was so deep.
I think there is something, like when on page 22, when he was talking, Conrad was talking to his swimming coach, he was talking about his coach was like, if you're not going to show up, if you're not going to work, then I'm not going to give it to you. And Conrad was like, I want to work, I want this. I think it's probably one things that he actually loves and believes in his life right now. And then I think that's something that could get him out of the depression. Or like surrounding himself by like friends. Because like when he was in the car with, what was his name? Lazenby or something.
Yeah.
He like seemed happier than he did at home. And he like on 21, he wished that he was back in the hospital because everything was easier. Like in his home life, he wanted to go back to the hospital because he didn't like how he was at home.
So he had
That's
to
so
like
messed up.
conform to the life that he once lived by.
Yeah.
I think he also felt safe in his choir class because he was like, that's a place where I can let my guard down. And I think that girl, what's her name, Jenny Pratt.
Yeah.
I think that she's gonna play a big part in the book.
So do I.
Kind of like Clay and Hannah.
Yeah.
I feel like at the same time though, I feel like he's struggling to conform with his friends because I feel like they've changed a lot. Like he said, I can't remember the quote, but it was when he was in the car and he was just kind of like, well, are these really my friends? Because he didn't really like how they were talking about that girl. But I feel like he misses how things used to be because it said like at that same point, like Kira was saying, like in the desk, like first place medley relay team, Lazenby, Buck himself in the middle, arms around each other, grinning at the camera, all confidence. And then he said, he snapped the drawer closed. It's like a hole in your mouth where a tooth was and you cannot keep your tongue from playing with it. So I feel like he longs and misses the way that things were with his friends, and he's noticing that they've changed, which is kind of like an evolution of high school, which we kind of saw in 13 Reasons Why.
But also, I feel that going off of how he's wishing he could be with his friends more, but also he's just dealing with a crisis of identity. He said on page 15, says, see, you haven't lost your sense of humor after all, but your sense of identity is what seems to have been misplaced. No, wrong, you don't lose what you never had. So he, like, in a sense, is saying that he's never had an identity, like he's never known who he truly was.
I mean, it's like, it's tough to figure that out at such a young age. Like, I feel like I don't know all about me too, and I feel like because maybe he lost his brother, whatever happened, that caused him to like become suicidal and completely lose himself. Now he's just more confused because he doesn't like the life that he used to live, and like he's trying to go back to it, but at the same time he wants nothing to do with it.
Do you think maybe the lack of self-awareness or identity that he has is due to the fact that his dad was an orphan? Because I feel like we talked about this when reading The Great Gatsby last year, and just kind of how when some people grow up without their real parents, they feel like they don't know who they truly are, and they feel like they will never know exactly who they are until they meet their real parents. And so I think that maybe his dad kind of lacked that sense of identity within himself because he was an orphan and like never had a true, I guess, like parental figures, and maybe that's kind of passed on down to Conrad.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I feel like he's just, in a way I feel like maybe he had these issues before the incident, but just the incident like highlighted it more and just made it go downhill, completely like, off the deep end in a sense. Because he's saying like you don't lose what you never had. I feel like he said he just always struggled with it, but maybe they didn't notice it, and maybe it didn't get extreme enough to go to a hospital until after he had lost
I feel like this happens with a lot of like I feel like I've heard a lot of stories like this with wealthy families who just kind of ignore the sons and daughters and like they get the money whatever, but like you're happy with that. Like when parents think that they're doing a good job by making their child happy, but they're not really paying attention to them. I think that this is like an extreme case of that, and there's obviously more to it, but like I don't know, it's like cool how you could like relate the story to kind of like Fairfield County.
Do you guys think that the title "Ordinary People" has like a significance in the book?
Yeah, I mean, because I feel like if you were to look at their family from the outside, you would think that, oh, they're ordinary people, and they live a life, they're like affluent, I guess it says, and you wouldn't think, like behind closed doors, you realize that they have issues and they're struggling. I feel that's like that way for every family, I guess, because everyone kind of